We remember. I was lost in shadows, I forgot the name I bear, but your whisper called me deeper, pulled me out from every fear, out of fear, into light, into truth, into love. Now my soul awakens, my spirit comes alive. Your breath restores my being, your love opens my eyes. I am yours and you are mine. In your light I rise and shine. I am held in majesty, I know who I am. I belong to thee, I am loved eternally. I am whole, completely free. I am crowned in royalty. I am the I am in thee. I am not a stranger, I am not a slave to fear. I am the image of the Father, heaven's breath is living here. Your spirit sings within me, a melody of truth, the song of ancient glory, the name I always knew. Awakened in your presence, restored in who I am. Your light defeats the darkness, your love is where I stand. I am yours and you are mine. In your light I rise and shine. I am held in majesty, I know who I am. I belong to thee, I am loved eternally. I am whole, completely free. I am crowned in royalty. I am the I am in me. I am chosen, I am holy, I am glory, I am whole, I am rising, I am shining, I am spirit, I am soul, I am breath of heaven breathing, I am light the dark can't hold, I am one with I am's being, I am fire and gold. I am yours and you are mine. In your love I realign. I am crowned in majesty. Your fullness lives in me. I am loved eternally. Heaven's breath, my identity. I am home in divinity. I am the I am in me. not air but divinity. The source became my soul, the truth made me whole. Now I see I was never far from you. You were the I am in me, breaking through. Christ is my life, Christ is my breath, Christ is the consciousness awakening my chest. Christ is the fire burning through the night. Christ is my being, my glory, my life. Yeah. I thought you lived above, but you were the life within. Religion made me forget, but your love woke me again. Now I stand in the fullness of who I am. Your spirit in my veins, your heartbeat in my hands. Christ is my life, Christ is my breath, Christ is the consciousness awakening my chest. Christ is the fire burning through the night. Christ is my being, my glory, my life. Yeah, 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 yeah. If humanity would rise and see through awakened eyes, the world would shine again. Heaven lives within. Christ is my life. Christ is my breath. Christ is the consciousness. Conquered death. Christ is the power breaking every lie. Christ is within me, awakening our lives.
I searched for life in borrowed names, in fragile truths that couldn't stay. I tried to hold what slips with fear, not knowing life was already here. The light arose inside my chest, not something heard, not something guessed. A knowing deeper than belief, Christ alive, the breath in me. I don't cling to hope afar, I live from what you already are. Not promised later, not delayed. Eternal life is here and stays. Christ is my life, my truest name, the eternal breath that cannot change. I am sealed, forever one, the witness of the Father's life alive in me. I'm not afraid of time or end. I don't fear what comes again. What is born of endless life cannot be taken, lost or tried. I don't borrow peace from thought, I rest in what the source has wrought. No distance left, no debt to pay. My life is held beyond decay. I don't secure what can't be lost. I don't defend what counts the cost. What's born of truth will always be the life that's living me. Christ is my life, my truest name, the eternal breath that cannot change. I am sealed, forever one, the witness of the Father's life alive in me, breathing through me. I don't wonder where I'll go when this breath returns to flow. Eternity is not a place, it's the life I live by grace. Not tomorrow, not someday, not held by fear, not held at bay. I live now, awake and sure, is eternal within Christ is my life, unbroken hope, light that anchors my very soul. I am sealed, forever and ever. I live my days unafraid. My eternity is I don't fear the end of days. I live from life that always stays. Christ in me, my now, my then, my life forever. Amen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope everyone is well. Before we start, I want us to reground in where we paused last time. We ended at Genesis 1, verse 20, where the waters were invited to bring forth life. And that matters because Genesis did not rush past the waters. It didn't silence them. It didn't label them as dangerous or disorderly. It simply allowed inner life to surface. That stage represents the moment when emotions, instincts, and subconscious movement begin to rise into awareness. And I want to remind you of something important before we go any further. When inner movement increases, awakening has not gone wrong. It has gone deeper. Nothing was judged in Genesis 1:20. Nothing was corrected. Nothing was condemned. Life was simply allowed to appear. As we move into Genesis 1:21, notice what happens next. God does not step in to suppress what surfaced. God does not call it chaotic, sinful, or broken. Instead, God acknowledges, names, and blesses what arose from the waters. This is where many people were taught the opposite. We were taught to fear emotion, to suppress instinct, to distrust inner movement. But Genesis does something very different. It affirms the inner life. Let's continue from Genesis 1:21. It says, "And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good." So we'll take it line by line, okay? Let's start with, "And God created great whales." This line is often misunderstood because people picture animals. But symbolically, this is one of the most important emotional verses in Genesis. Whales represent the deepest emotions, massive inner experiences, ancient feelings, long-held pain, grief, fear, or longing. They live far beneath the surface. They move slowly. They carry weight. This is when deep emotional material surfaces. Not just surface reactions, but core feelings shaped over time. These are the emotions people are often afraid of. Grief they never processed. Fear they buried. Sadness they learned to ignore. But Genesis calls them great, not dangerous. God creates them, meaning they are acknowledged as part of life, not errors. Next line says, "And every living creature that moveth." This phrase emphasizes something crucial. These inner movements are alive. They are not sinful. They are not demonic. They are not corrupt. They are life expressing itself emotionally. Next line says, "that moveth." Movement means emotional responses, inner reactions, feelings that rise and fall. Emotions move, they are not fixed identities. And this line here removes shame. You don't become anger, you experience anger. Next line says, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind. This line is very gentle. Emotions come from the subconscious. Yeah, the subconscious. Not from moral failure. And they arise because awareness is now deep enough to hold them. What is abundantly? There can be many feelings at once, many. Awakening does not mean emotional minimalism. It often means emotional honesty. Next line says, after their kind. This phrase matters a lot. It means emotions are specific. They are contextual. They make sense within their origin. Fear doesn't arise randomly. Sadness doesn't appear without context. Anger has a story. Genesis says each emotion has its own nature. Next line says, and every winged fowl after his kind. Now, the text shifts from emotional depth to mental activity. Winged fowl or birds represent thoughts, interpretations, mental narratives, conclusions we draw about what we feel. Birds move faster than whales. They are lighter. They change direction easily. As emotions surface, thoughts multiply. This is normal. People often say, why am I thinking so much now? Why can't I quiet my mind? Genesis says, thinking increases when emotional awareness increases. Next line says, after his kind. Meaning, thoughts are shaped by background, language, culture, belief systems. Not every thought is truth, but every thought belongs to a pattern. Awakening helps you recognize patterns instead of obeying them. Next line says, and God saw that it was good. God does not say, suppress the emotions, silence the thoughts, purify them first. God says, it is good. Having emotions is not failure. Having thoughts is not unspiritual. What matters is awareness, not absence. Moving on to Genesis 1:22. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. Let's start with, and God blessed them. Blessing is permission to exist. God does not tolerate emotions. He blesses them. You don't heal by rejecting emotions. You heal by allowing them to exist consciously. Next line says, be fruitful and multiply. This means emotional awareness expands. Inner life becomes richer. Understanding deepens. Fruitfulness here is integration. Next line says, fill the waters. This is integration language. Emotions are no longer hidden. They are inhabited by awareness. Next line says, let fowl multiply in the earth. Thoughts move from uncontrolled mental chatter to embodied understanding. Awareness begins to ground thinking. Moving on to Genesis 1:23, and the evening and the morning were the fifth day. Again, evening, then morning. Confusion comes before clarity. Emotion before understanding. Awakening honors sequence. You don't rush through feeling to get to insight. You let insight emerge from feeling. So Genesis 1, verse 21 to 23 together reads like this. As awareness reaches the deeper emotional layers, even the heaviest feelings and busiest thoughts are acknowledged, blessed, and allowed to exist. Nothing is rejected, and God calls this good. You don't need to suppress emotion to be spiritual. Deep feelings are not dangerous. Mental activity is not failure. Awareness heals by allowing, not controlling. This alone dismantles so much religious trauma. Moving on to Genesis 1:24. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind, and it was so. Starting with, and God said. This is not God forcing behavior into humanity. This is life allowing deeper layers of embodiment to surface into awareness. Awakening does not stop at emotions and thoughts. It eventually reaches instinct and survival programming. Next line says, let the earth bring forth the living creature. Earth equals embodied human experience. Bring forth equals emerge naturally. These are not imposed traits. They arise from being human in a physical world. This is where you begin to notice automatic reactions, survival habits, conditioned responses, not as sins, but as patterns. Next line says, living creature. These instincts are alive. They are functional. They serve survival. Instincts like fear, self-protection, attachment, withdrawal. These are not dead or evil mechanisms. They are living responses developed for preservation. Awakening does not demonize them, it makes them conscious. Next line says, after his kind. This phrase appears again, and it's important. It means patterns have categories. Instincts follow predictable routes. Reactions are not random. You begin to recognize, this is my fear response. This is my defense pattern. This is my conditioning. Naming patterns reduces their power. Next is cuddle. This word is very specific. Cuddle symbolizes trained behavior, learned compliance, routine survival responses, behaviors shaped by authority and environment. Cattle are guided, domesticated, accustomed to instruction. These are the parts of us shaped by upbringing, religion, culture, societal expectation. You did not choose these consciously, you learned them. Awakening reveals them without contempt. Next is creeping thing. Creeping things symbolize subtle fears, unconscious anxieties, low-level reactions, habits that operate beneath awareness. They creep because they move quietly. They are often unnoticed. They influence behavior subtly. This is when you begin to notice background anxiety, people pleasing, hypervigilance, avoidance. Not dramatic, just constant undercurrents. And Genesis dignifies even this. Next says, beast of the earth. This represents the raw survival self. Beasts symbolize fight or flight responses, dominance instincts, territorial behavior, unfiltered reactions. They are not refined, they are powerful. This is when you become aware of anger, defensiveness, the need to protect, the urge to control or withdraw. Genesis does not condemn this layer, it acknowledges it. Now we see after his kind repeated, because instincts are patterned. Awakening allows you to say, this is instinct, not my identity. This is reaction, not truth. This is survival, not my essence. That distinction is freedom. Next line says, and it was so. No resistance, no shame, no delay. When awareness reaches embodiment, instinct naturally comes into view. Awakening doesn't skip the body, it includes it. As awareness deepens, we begin to recognize our learned behaviors, subtle fears, and raw survival instincts. These are not enemies. They are part of being human. And God allows them to surface without judgment. This tells us instincts don't make you unspiritual. Reactions don't mean failure. Survival patterns are not shameful. They are simply layers awaiting awareness. Moving on to Genesis 1:25. Let's start with, and God made the beasts of the earth after his kind. This confirms what was already surfacing in the previous verse. Beasts of the earth represents raw survival instincts, fight or flight responses, territorial reactions, protective aggression. These are earth-based responses tied to embodiment, not sin. This verse acknowledges that strong reactions exist because you are embodied, not because you are broken. Fear, anger, self-defense, these arise from living in form, in a vessel, in a body. They are functional, not moral failures. Next is after his kind. This phrase keeps repeating for a reason. It means instincts are patterned, reactions are predictable, responses follow learned and biological pathways. You begin to see this is a pattern, not my identity. This reaction has a source. I can observe this without being consumed by it. Awareness breaks identification. Next says, and cattle after their kind. As we saw earlier, cattle symbolize conditioned behavior, learned compliance, habits shaped by authority, family, culture, religion. These are behaviors you were trained into, not consciously chosen. This is where people often feel shame. Why do I still react this way? Why is this habit so hard to break? Genesis says, these patterns belong to embodiment, not corruption. It's part of being human. Religion teaches otherwise. But God says it's part of being human. Next line says, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. Creeping things represent subtle anxieties, background fears, unconscious habits, quiet survival responses. They are not loud. They don't announce themselves. They influence behavior quietly. This is the layer people often miss. People pleasing, avoidance, hyper alertness, low grade fear. Genesis includes even these. Nothing is excluded. Nothing is shamed. Next line says what? And God saw that it was good. This line is everything. God does not say this must be fixed. This must be removed. This must be punished. God says it is good. Instinct is not evil. Conditioning is not sin. Survival is not failure. They are part of the human experience. What matters is awareness, not elimination. Why this verse is so important for healing? Many people were taught instincts are sinful, emotions are dangerous, reactions mean you are unspiritual. Genesis directly contradicts that. This verse says, God does not condemn the instinctual self. God acknowledges it and calls it good. That alone releases years of inner conflict. When awareness reaches our instincts, habits, and survival patterns, God does not condemn them. He recognizes them as part of embodied life and calls them good. Why this verse prepares us for Genesis 1:26. This verse is the final grounding step before identity is revealed. Genesis makes sure instincts are seen, emotions are acknowledged, patterns are understood before saying you are made in the image. This prevents ego inflation. This prevents shame. This keeps identity integrated, not fragmented. You've gone through all the healing stages. Now let's move on to Genesis 1:26. Starting with, and God said. Identity is not imposed. It is revealed through understanding. This means identity comes after emotional awareness, instinct recognition, grounding in embodiment, not before. Let us make man. This is not God speaking to other beings. This is life expressing itself intentionally. This is God in his full essence, God in his fullness speaking, not other beings. This is God in his full essence speaking. Identity is not accidental. Humanity is a deliberate expression of life becoming conscious of itself. Next line says, in our image. Image does not mean physical resemblance. It means capacity for awareness, ability to perceive, ability to reflect, consciousness that can recognize life. You are not made to obey blindly. You are made to be aware. This restores dignity without creating superiority. Next line, after our likeness. Likeness is expression, not essence. Image equals capacity. Likeness equals lived expression. You are designed not just to be aware, but to express life through how you live. Compassion, creativity, wisdom, presence. Next line says, and let them have dominion. Dominion has been deeply misunderstood. It does not mean domination, control over others, superiority. No. Dominion means self-governance through awareness. Now, notice what dominion is over. First, over the fish of the sea. Fish represent emotional responses. C equals the subconscious depths. Dominion here means you are no longer ruled by unconscious emotion. You can feel deeply without drowning. Next is over the fowl of the air. Fa represents thoughts, mental narratives. Air equals mental space. Dominion here means thoughts no longer control you automatically. You can observe thinking instead of being possessed by it. Next is over the cattle. Cattle equals conditioned behavior. Habits learned from authority and culture. Dominion here means you are no longer living on autopilot. You can question inherited patterns. Next says over all the earth. Earth is embodied life. Dominion here means you inhabit your body consciously instead of being driven by instinct alone. Next says over every creeping thing. Creeping things equal subtle fears, background anxiety. Dominion here means even quiet and conscious patterns can be seen and softened, not eradicated, integrated. Moving on to Genesis 1:27. So God created man in his own image. This repeats for emphasis. Identity is foundational, not earned. You don't become worthy, you start worthy. Next line says, male and female created he them. This is not about gender roles like we thought. This is not talking about a man and a woman. This is about polarity within consciousness. Male represents initiative, projection, expression. Female represents receptivity, intuition, inner processing. Consciousness requires both. Wholeness requires both. You are not meant to live only in action or only in receptivity. Integration is balance. That's what it means, male and female created he them, not gender. So Genesis 1:26-27 together reads as, after emotions are acknowledged and instincts are seen, identity is revealed, not as domination, but as awareness capable of self-governance. Humanity is designed to live consciously, not reactively. Why this lands safely now? Because Genesis waited. It did not reveal identity before emotions surfaced, before instincts were acknowledged, before patterns were seen. So, identity is revealed without ego and without shame. Moving on to Genesis 1:28, starting with, and God blessed them. Blessing comes before instruction. Blessing means affirmation, permission, life's yes. You are affirmed before you act. This removes performance anxiety. Be fruitful. Fruitfulness is meaningful expression, not productivity, not hustle, not output. Fruit equals what naturally flows when life is aligned. Next line says, and multiply. This is not about making babies. Multiplication is expansion of awareness. Truth doesn't stay private. It gently spreads into relationships, into choices, into presence. Next line says, and replenish the earth. Replenish means restore, renew, refill. It's not about making babies. Earth equals embodied human life. Conscious living restores areas that were depleted by fear, shame, or unconscious living. Next line says, and subdue it. This word has been misunderstood, but subdue does not mean dominate or suppress. It means bring under conscious order. You no longer live reactively. Awareness guides action. Next says, and have dominion. Dominion is repeated to reinforce this truth. Awareness governs instinct, emotion, and thought, not the other way around. This is inner authority, not external power. Moving on to Genesis 1:29, starting with, I have given you. Provision is already present. You are not chasing life. Life is supporting you. Next line, every herb bearing seed. Herb equals simple truth. Seed equals sustainability. Awakening is nourished by simple, repeatable truth, not complexity, not the one religion teaches. Simple, repeatable truth. Next says, every tree yielding seed. Mature understanding feeds you long term. Truth becomes sustaining, reliable, grounding. Next says, to you it shall be for meat. Meat equals nourishment. Truth is meant to nourish, not burden. So if a teaching exhausts people, it's not being received as food. Moving on to Genesis 1:30. And to every beast of the earth, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. This is provision for all life. Even instincts are provided for. Nothing in you is abandoned. Nothing is starved. Nothing is rejected. Every layer of life is supported. Moving on to Genesis 1:31. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. God saw everything. Nothing is excluded. Emotions, instincts, thoughts, embodiment, awareness. Wholeness includes everything, not only the spiritual parts. Now next line says, well, very good, not just good, very good. Not because nothing exists, but because nothing is rejected. Wholeness is not perfection. It is integration. Next line is what? Evening and morning. Once again, confusion precedes clarity. Unawareness precedes awakening. This is the completed pattern. So Genesis 1:28-31 together reads as, after awareness is revealed, life expands naturally, provides what is needed, and affirms the whole journey as very good. Not because it is flawless, but because nothing is excluded. You've mastered your journey. The Father has seen progress. So now he says what? Very good. At first it was good, good. Now, very good. Awakening is not fixing yourself. It's integrating yourself. Having dominion. Having inner mastery, self-mastery. Religion teaches the opposite. But Genesis says it's about integrating yourself. Nothing in you needs to be removed to be whole. Very good means fully included. Before we move into Genesis 2 on Friday, I want us to pause and honor what Genesis 1 has already done. Genesis 1 was never trying to explain how the universe was manufactured. Your inner world is the universe. Your inner world is the universe. So Genesis 1 was showing us how awareness awakens. Step by step, we watched consciousness come online, light appearing, discernment forming, emotions surfacing, instinct being recognized, identity being revealed, and life being affirmed as very good. Nothing was rushed. Nothing was condemned. Nothing was rejected. Every stage was acknowledged. Every layer was included. And that matters because Genesis 1 teaches us something essential. Awakening is not about fixing yourself. It is about seeing yourself clearly. And notice something else. At no point in Genesis 1 does God shame what emerges. Not darkness, not emotion, not instinct, not embodiment. Everything that appears is named, ordered, and affirmed. That tells us something very important about the Father. The Father does not despise the human experience. The Father does not fear your inner world. The Father does not condemn the process of becoming aware. Life affirms life. And that's why Genesis 1 ends the way it does. Not with perfection, but with wholeness. Very good does not mean flawless. It means nothing excluded. Now, as we prepare to move into Genesis 2, I want to say this clearly. Genesis 2 is not a second creation story. It is not a contradiction, and it is not God starting over. It is a shift in focus. Genesis 1 showed us awakening, awareness, identity revealed. Genesis 2 will show us embodiment, expression, life entering lived experience. Same source, same life, different lens. So, if at any point during Genesis 1, you felt relief, clarity, emotion, or even discomfort, nothing went wrong. Awareness always stirs before it settles. You don't need to hurry past Genesis 1 to get to deeper truth. Genesis 1 is the foundation for a reason. And when the foundation is clear, Genesis 2 becomes safe to explore. I want you to hold this as we move forward. You were never created broken. Never. You awakened into awareness. And the moment awareness appears, God calls it good. So, rest in that. And when we continue on Friday, we'll step into Genesis 2 as life learning how to express itself in form. Now you've passed the stage, you've awakened. Now you have self-mastery over your inner world. Now you have to leave it. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. This is life. Genesis 2 is life, learning how to express itself in form. Have a good evening, and I will see you all on Friday. And thank you. Thank you for joining this session.
They call me rebellious, 'cause I asked too many whys. Why a God who's pure and loving would condemn his own to die. I knew something didn't match between the fear and what I felt, so I walked away from doctrine to find the truth for myself. And every step I took in silence led me closer to the light. I wasn't running from the Father, I was running from the light. I'm a rebel for love, breaking out of every cage they built. I'm a rebel for love. No more fear, no more shame, no guilt. I'm awake to who I am. I came from heaven's heart above. Call me wild, call me free. I'm a rebel for love. Aquarius in my spirit, I was born to question things. I can't follow blind tradition. I was made for deeper wings. And the God I know is gentle, and the God I know is kind. I refuse the false religion till the truth renewed my mind. Now every breath is a revelation. Every moment I arise. I didn't lose my faith in God, I just lost faith in the light. I'm a rebel for love, breaking out of every cage they built. I'm a rebel for love. No more fear, no more shame, no guilt. I'm awake to who I am. I came from heaven's heart above. Call me wild, call me free. I'm a rebel for love. I won't bow to fear again. I won't worship empty rules. Love is stronger than religion. Truth is louder than their tools. Let the Spirit be my compass. Let the fire in me rise. I'm a rebel for the kingdom. I'm a rebel for the light.